Yo, I'm Maple or Gil or Dave or Riley, whichever of my fucking aliases slash nicknames you'd prefer to use. Anyway, this Speedpaint is narrated because I am sick of copyright claims. I have a script, but I don't know how well I'll stick to it. Anyway, the piece I am drawing here is called The Last Milkshake, which makes sense in the plotline I've laid out for my soon-to-be fan comic, which doesn't have a name yet. It features my four main human characters, Liam, Lucy, Gwen, and Alta. How I draw is all over the place, so I'm going to just go in order of the creation of these characters. Starting off with Liam Fisher. Liam is a wannabe pirate with an intense love of anything outside. He and Lucy are quite close friends and always roleplayed their characters. Sometimes he roleplays with Gwen too, but I'll talk about Lucy and Gwen later. Okay, back to Liam. His aspect is time. He doesn't have a class yet, but he is a prospect dreamer, so it's probably going to be a more passive class, but who knows? I do what I want. Another thing Liam does is hang out of his window. He has one of those cool windows with the little seat part which sticks out the wall, which he uses all the time to sleep, hang out, and if you need to find him, that's probably where you should look. He's not very good at socializing due to always taking time to himself. Oh, maybe a thief of time. Gotta research that later. Back to what I was saying, he is hostile towards strangers and very outspoken, often blurting things out and being brutally honest. Although I like to think that's a good feature for him. Sometimes you need that friend that will just call out your bullshit. He's very motivated and will usually find the time to invest in his interests and hobbies. Speaking of hobbies, Liam has a few. These include climbing trees, gymnastics, and creating costumes. The latter is mostly because he just wants to be a pirate boy with a pirate costume. His strife specipus is Hookkind because pirates, again. His Concord username is application Raider, application meaning to bask in the sunlight, and raider meaning to forcefully take or steal something. The latter could also point to him possibly being a thief. Damn, I really gotta get on that research. Also, yes, Concord is a play on Discord, even though it didn't exist in the time period this is set in. Another thing I can talk about is Liam's appearance. Liam wears a blue eye patch over his left eye for obvious reasons. He also has dyed blue hair. His natural hair color is a reddish-brown. He wears 4 bracelets, each the color of him and his friend's text/eye colors. He also sports a light blue t-shirt with a leaf on it, displaying his love of plants. He wears almost knee-high navy blue boots and short black shorts. Reason for name for this? I don't know, he just likes shorts. Okay, I think that's enough of Liam. Let's move on to Lucy Kellogg. Lucy is the second kid I made. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, these are Homestuck OCs. Anyway, continuing on. Lucy is a scientific genius when it comes to atoms and how things are made. If you ask her, she can explain how something is created down to the fucking electron. She spends a lot of time researching this shit, and it pays off. Lucy's aspect is space, if it wasn't obvious already. She also has no class yet, but I'm working on it. Thinking a seer or something like that. Lucy is a Durst streamer, which is also probably obvious, as you can tell. I don't put a lot of deep thought into this shit. Continuing on. Lucy has a strong sweet tooth. This is why her shirt has the chemical symbol for sugar plastered onto it. Because she loves sugar, and I mean, who doesn't? Onto personality. Lucy is kind and outgoing, quite the opposite to Liam, but she does have a similar hostile trait towards people who mess with her friends, which sometimes can go overboard, and trust me, you wouldn't want this bitch as your enemy. She's smart, real smart, and she will pound you into the dirt. Sorry, that's just how it is. I don't fucking make the rules. Now, onto hobbies. Lucy likes to play video games, roleplay, singing, which she hides from everyone, reading about scientific methods and making new objects, a few of her favorite being generic-looking objects and making them into weapons. Speaking of weapons, Lucy uses ribbon kind, which may seem awful for combat, but the ribbon is made from a special steel wool that she developed, and it hurts like a bitch. She could probably smack people real hard, not gonna lie. Lucy's Concord username is Hydraulic Sweet Tooth, hydraulic being a type of science and usually to do with contained spaces and pressing things until crushed. Sweet Tooth is obvious and what it means, and obviously points to how she likes sweets. Lastly, appearance. Lucy has ginger hair that she likes to wear in a ponytail, always having a bow around the top. She wears a shirt with the chemical symbol for sugar on it, a light grey skirt with black leggings under, and orange and yellow sneakers. Let's move on to Gwen Hanlon, the third kid I created. Gwen is a happy-go-lucky, cutesy girl who likes to stay up until late at night and has a maximum of 3 hours sleep. Her aspect is blood. Like the others, she has no class yet, but I'm sure I'll figure it out somehow. She's a prospect dreamer. Again, wow, I'm obvious. Gwen is quite tech-savvy. She knows how to find the weirdest crap on the web. Gwen is very humble. She will often avoid talking about herself and her opinions in order to hear out other people's. This makes her and Alton, my fourth kid, able to get along very well. She has quite a fixation on The Rock, the actor that is, as well as having a pet rock named Timmy. Timmy Rock. Yeah, Timmy is a rock that a friend of mine owns. Me and her and my girlfriend named and found him during tech class at school. My friend then adopted him and dressed him up. That's the story of Timmy. Oh, yeah, and she lost him, so rip. Anyway, back to my girl. Gwen lives near the beach. She has a nice little cottage where her and her grandma live. Her grandma is often home and is very kind. They like to dance, crochet, and drink tea together and are quite close. Let's talk about some of the girls' interests. Gwen enjoys dancing and creating music. She plays the piccolo as well as other various instruments I haven't thought of yet. She's a big fan of cheesy romance movies and just cheesy movies in general. She hates horror but loves creepy ARGs. She watches all the movies that The Rock is in, no matter how bad, and always loves them. She's amazing at almost everything she does, but doesn't like to think so herself. Her Concord username is Charleston Lithocarp, which Charleston is a dance, and I can't remember what Lithocarp is. And her Strive specimen is Yo-Yo Kind, which appears as a green and white swirly yo-yo, which is around 8 centimeters wide. Let's talk about appearance to finish off Gwen's portion of the video. Gwen has just under shoulder length black hair that is tied into 2 low ponytails on either side of her head. She wears a pale green tank top under a green jacket that she wears off both her shoulders. Her tank top has a light green ball of yarn on it. She also wears cobalt blue shorts, a few different colored band-aids for various scratches, and brown sandals. She has neon green glasses and 2 neon green scrunchies around her hair. Now let's move on to my last kiddo, Alta Hodges. Alta likes the occult and talking to Gwen, Lucy, and Liam about all his conspiracy theories and other various things that come into his little twisted mind of his. Anyway, I'll talk about his personality and interests sure enough. Let's move on to those yummy class specs. Alta is a Doom player. Like all the others, haven't had the time to look into class. Well, I have had the time, but I've been lazy. Alta is a Durst streamer. Big surprise there. I guess we should move on to personality and little quirks. One of his favorite hidden pastimes is following instructions and building Lego sets. He has a few different Lego sets that he keeps underneath his bed. He owns a Star Wars Lego set, one of a random car that he just picked up somewhere, And lastly, his own little haunted house Lego. Ultra is quiet, awkward, and a little scary at times, although don't think that he won't confront you just because he's quiet and awkward. He most certainly will call you out on your shit and give you advice on how to improve, although the quality of that advice is questionable. Anyway, back on track. He is also indecisive and neutral at times, which can get frustrating from the other's point of view. He's also very cynical, superstitious, and bizarre when you get to know him. Let's talk about hobbies now because I don't think I've talked about that yet. So Alta has a few hobbies, including witchcraft and Wiccan practices, researching and reading about the occult. He also loves conspiracy theories and demons and ghosts and such. He watches JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Dragon Ball Z. He has an interest in calligraphy and knives, often collecting calligraphy pens and pretty knives, sometimes even making them himself. Alta has wanted a pet snake since he was really young, hence the symbol of it on his shirt being a snake. Alta's Concord username is Cynical Warlock, and his dry specifics is baseball kind. It would probably be better to have it be knife kind, but he reckons that one of his quote-unquote children will be hurt. Yes, his knives are his children. Alta lives with his uncle, who is almost always away. He lives nearby Gwen, but doesn't like to visit often because he feels as if he's bothering her. Of course, Gwen doesn't mind at all. Lastly, let's talk about appearance. Alta has chin-length, light brown or beige hair, which is parted to one side. He has a dull red eye color. He wears a long-sleeved red shirt under a dull grey shirt with a red snake logo on it, as well as black jeans and light red socks. Yes, just socks. No shoes. And that's the end of the video, or at least, I hope. If not, here's a bad Minecraft Billie Eilish parody my girlfriend dared me to do at the end. Credit in description to original owner of the song. My sheep, yeah, red-eyed will to try sleeping, but monsters are nearby. And I found my house at night, like they are so criminal. Diamonds is of my hands for you, or chopped, and my mushrooms too. I saw it, and its sharpness too. It's invisible. With a tough guy, there's not a rob guy. And my house guy, there's not a ground guy. Bad type, and bad type. Dead type, and bad type. Bad guy. Bruh. Bad guy. I like it when you start to chase even if you know that you can't fly. Like that's attack my base. Am invincible. My dog likes to grief along with me. My villages simply. I'm my chest hills to the villagers. Tough guy, that's not a love guy. I'm a house guy, I'm a ground guy. I'm the bad type, I'm the bad type. Or dead type, I'm the bad type. Bad guy. Bruh. I'm a bad guy. Bruh. I'm the underbanding band. And I'm bad. I'm so pretty glad you have my shed inside of me. I assume she's because I'm wearing my mob head. Bad guy. I'm the bad guy. Quick little last segment. Thank you for watching the video. I hope I didn't kill your ears and brain cells too much with that stupid parody. Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter, and whatever in the description. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.